it's Spiegel's account. It's a reputable magazine, but it's Spiegel's account. And, of course, they've only seen part of the documents. But what they allege is that there was a pretty concerted... They've seen a document from 2010 which seems to indicate that there were attempts to bug the EU mission in Washington, in the United Nations, and to tap the phones and the computer system, both in those places, but also in a building in Brussels, which is used by the Council of Ministers. And that building includes rooms used by ministers after and before meetings for their own purposes, the governments, and that includes, Britain is also part of the Council of Ministers. So the document, according to Spiegel, reveals pretty widespread spying on EU affairs.
We've already had some reaction here, Stephen, which I have to say was a combination of shock and dismay. What about reaction where you are?
Shock and dismay puts it nicely. The President of the European Parliament says if the revelations turn out to be true, well then relations between the EU and the US would be severely disrupted. The Foreign Minister of Luxembourg says he's disgusted by them. You know, you don't have to be a rocket scientist to understand that if what seems to be a very close relationship actually turns out to be one with substantial amounts of spying, well then that is a disruption to the relationship. One interesting thing which Spiegel also says, which is embarrassing in its relations with Germany, but perhaps not with its relations with the US's relations with Germany, but perhaps not with Britain. It grades Germany, according to these documents, as a grade 3 ally. Now, the only allies which it appears to trust completely, which the US appears to trust completely, are Australia, Canada, the UK and New Zealand. And it indicates that there isn't this similar level of spying going on with Britain, for example. But when you think back to previous WikiLeaks revelations, for example, which revealed what the US embassy here really thought about German politicians and how embarrassing that was and how difficult it was for a kind of repair operation. It's an embarrassment on that scale, but probably a greater scale in truth.